Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here, and it's a Wow Wednesday. And wow, Canada has won Group H at FIBA World Cup 2023. And we're so proud of them. We're going to continue to keep rolling. Of course, the next stage is the second round, a classification round, where we have to play two teams from Group G that get to the next round. And we found them out this morning as Brazil has beaten Ivory Coast, and that means that we will face Brazil 9:30 a.m. on Friday morning in our second round matchup. And then the second match of the second round will be against Spain on Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. So happy and awesome to see Canada make history for the first time. The Canadian team has never won their group at FIBA World Cup until this week. So Canada is doing something they've never done as a program in FIBA basketball this week. That's a very big deal and something for all of us to be very proud of here in Canada to see that. All right, let me check in with the comments, and we'll also be doing a box score overview of the game yesterday a little bit, talking about the current scores for the games today, Instagram check, and just the normal Raptor Freak regular stuff, and then we'll be off. Tomorrow, a Thursday think tank, talking about whether we think Canada can legitimately win this and how they can. All about Canada versus U.S. and what the differences are between these two teams and what could actually be the ace in the hand for Team Canada if they play the Team U.S. later on in this tournament. Yeah, Trevor J's first in. Good morning, Raptors family. Good morning to you, Trevor J. And Canadian Dana saying good morning, everyone. And good morning to Trevor J also. Yeah, it's always good to see Trevor J and Canadian Dana in the morning. Trevor J saying, excuse me, every day starts with some expectations, but every day ends with some experience. This is life, so enjoy the day. There you go. Sometimes just take some time to enjoy the simpler things. Take some time to de-stress and just be still in the moment, and just take some time to take stock of how happy and grateful you are for the good things you have in your life. Now, if you do the opposite and you take some time to take stock of the things that you hate, that are driving you nuts, people that annoy you, well, that's what you'll get more of in your head. We really do create what we want in our lives by thinking about it and perceiving it. So if you want to perceive the worst in your life, go ahead and double down on that. But a lot of the happiest people, the people that you're like, wow, why are they always so happy? In some ways, I don't understand it. They're the ones who are doing exactly what I said as far as doubling down on happy things, things that they're grateful for, things that make them feel blessed to be alive. So Trevor J, thank you so much. You know, if you have expectations for the day, go out there and execute and get those things done. But if you don't have them happen, if things go awry today, you know, then you got the experience of the day to learn from it and also maybe get up and do a better job the next day. That's right, Trevor J. All right. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Trevor J, as usual. And Trevor saying good morning to you too, Dana. And Trevor saying Canada will play Friday and Sunday at 9:30 a.m. That's right. I'm looking forward to those games. Pretty good start times. As Monique is saying here, Raptor fan, super fan, Monique Lawrence is here. Good morning, everyone. Dennis shows off his car collection. Patrick Mutombo back in Cameroon with Pascal. What a time. Go Canada, go Jordy, go Raptors. All right. Yeah, we saw a little YouTube short on Dennis's channel of him out with his cars yesterday, kind of showing his cars off. I don't know if that clip's new or old. It may have been around a little bit. But yeah, apparently he's got a very nice Escalade to ride the family around. It's seat 7. And then he's got another vehicle that he's thinking about shipping back to Germany. It's a Mercedes-Benz. And he said he doesn't have any of these nice cars in Germany, actually. In fact, it seemed like from the clips in Germany on his channel that he doesn't really ride around in Germany in a car. I mean, they have cars, but it's a lot of walking in his small town where he lives in Germany. He does not live in a big city in Germany. He lives in a small little hamlet. So that's an interesting thing. And then his favorite car is a Lamborghini. He has a very, very nice Lamborghini in California. And very, very interesting cars by Dennis Schroeder. See, we were getting to know Dennis even better and better and better as the days go by. I have more Dennis stuff to talk about in just a little bit also. I did not know Patrick Mutombo is in Cameroon with Pascal. That's good. It's good that he still has a connection to our franchise somehow, some way. Of course, Patrick has joined the Milwaukee Bucks and Adrian Griffin's staff for this upcoming season. So he will be a coach for the Bucks this year. Also, you're saying that what a time. Go Jordy and go Raptors. Yeah, I'm very impressed with Jordy Fernandez. He's been very fiery with Team Canada. He's been very inspiring. Yesterday they got to a bad start, and Jordy kind of gave him the riot act. He's like, y'all want to be number one? Well, you can't be doing what you're doing right now, taking time off on defensive plays and then expecting things to go easy for you on offense. This is verbatim what he said to them in one of his fiery timeouts, getting under them, trying to tell them what to do. And then after the game, Jordy is quoting Alanis Morissette lyrics. We need, in this world where we needed we had 4 spoons, we needed a knife or something like that. And he said Nickel was the knife to get them going in the right direction. Very interesting that he's quoting Alanis Morissette. Of course, he says she's a Canadian, and this is Team Canada, so it makes sense. But also the musical aspect of Nick Nurse being the former coach and him being a huge fan of Alanis Morissette. He's very much on record for saying that. So in some ways, very interesting that Jordy's quoting Alanis Morissette after our victory over Latvia yesterday and the connections with Nick and his musical career and stuff like that. Very, very fun and cool to see Jordy. I'm telling you, man, this guy is a fiery spirit, but don't overreact, Raptors fans, and say, why didn't we hire him instead of Darko? It's just we made the choices, and this is how it's going to go. And Darko's doing fantastic. Think about it this way. Darko was, if Jordy was doing both, he would be taken away from the Raptors right now to be preparing for the season. So in some ways, we got Darko preparing for the season, and Jordy is running this team for Team Canada at FIBA. It's the right decisions. And when we see Darko out there coaching, y'all will feel the same way that you feel about Jordy this summer with the FIBA action. You're going to feel the same way in the confidence and happiness that Darko is coaching our team. Trust me. Just believe in what I'm saying, please. Dana's saying good morning to Mo. Always good to say good morning to the super fan, Monique Lawrence. Trevor J's giving us the score from Slovenia, 92, Cape Verde, 77. And on that cue, let me go look at these scores from today. We've had a lot of group action already played this morning, obviously, because, they're playing way early in the morning while we're all sleeping. The first game of the day was South Sudan and Serbia. And unfortunately, South Sudan could not get the job done to knock out the team that we wanted to get knocked out because they lost. Unfortunately, that would have been very nice if South Sudan could have been successful today. But unfortunately, it's just not going to happen. Serbia winning 115 to 183. Big win. Georgia taking care of business and eliminating Venezuela. They'd already been eliminated, but they were overdone. Very nice to see Georgia victorious this morning. USA, of course, a huge victory over Rondé Hollis Jefferson and the Jordan team, 110 to 62. Very dominant show by Anthony Edwards apparently this morning. And there was a bit of a schoolyard back and forth between Edwards and Rondé Hollis Jefferson. So there was a little bit of a score back and forth kind of thing. Very entertaining stuff. Of course, USA expected to sweep their group and win Group C, and they have done that this morning, finally beating the final opponent, Jordan. Brazil did win against Ivory Coast, as I said earlier, 89 to 77. This game was close near the end, but then Brazil kind of widened the gap right at the end to win by 12. Brazil advances to the second round in Group G with Spain, and that is how we're going to play Brazil and Spain Friday and Sunday. Slovenia has beaten Cape Verde 92 to 77. That's the game that ended just recently that Trevor just announced to us. Now there's 3 games actually in action as we speak. There's 7 minutes to go right now with China and Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has a 13-point lead. Of course, we're rooting for China because if China beats Puerto Rico somehow, some way still, Puerto Rico will be out and less of a threat to take one of those Olympic qualifying spots from the Americas. So come on, Lee Kyer, Kyle Anderson. Get it going, China, and beat Puerto Rico. We need them beaten, y'all. Come on now, China. Rise up and beat Puerto Rico, please. Another game right now. New Zealand is playing Greece, and this game very much matters for both teams. Whoever wins this game will get to advance to the second round. And this is a big deal. These teams are very evenly matched in some ways without Giannis Antetokounmpo on Greece. So New Zealand is actually beating Greece by 9 points right now. New Zealand is having a great World Cup so far. They've won one game already. And I'm telling you, this is the thing. New Zealand could be going on the other top spot with USA in Group C by the end of this game. They're on track for it right now. And just tipped off just a little while ago in the first quarter still, Spain is down to Ivory Coast right now, currently 15-11. So Spain's starting slow, and Ivory Coast trying to make something happen. But it's futile because Spain has already punched their ticket to the second round, and Ivory Coast has already been eliminated. But hey, they want some bragging rights and some sort of something, and say they beat Spain at World Cup. Well, go for that, Ivory Coast. But at this point, they're already done and out. So there's a little bit of a check with the current scores going on at FIBA World Cup this morning already. Canada will be playing Brazil 9:30 a.m. on Friday morning. Spain on Sunday morning at 9:30 also. Yeah, Mo's saying finally a time that works for all of you, 9:30, not 5:30 a.m. in reference to Team Canada. Thank God. Well, Monique, there was really only one game at 5:30. We've been very fortunate with the Team Canada games that almost all of them have been at 9:30. There was just that Sunday game against Lebanon that was at 5:30. I think that they've been really smart with how they've been scheduling these FIBA games, and that they want to think about the time zones where the countries are when they're playing. And of course, they don't want to put us on too much in the middle of the night, so they really try and play the countries around the world during the middle of the night, and then they put like us or USA near the end of the day around 9:30. Now, US has been starting earlier than us on some games. So in some ways, we should be grateful that we've been at 9:30 all games except for one. And meanwhile, the US people have had to get up at weird times and maybe even get up earlier than us more than we have. So in some ways, we've been more lucky than the American fans up here in Canada. So I'm very happy about that. We'll have to see how the later rounds go, assuming we get past the second round, which I really do think we will. I really, really do think we will. I think we should kick the shit out of Brazil on Friday, also very much. But Spain will be a test. Now, we've beaten Spain in recent weeks already in overtime, great thriller, and we can do it again. It'll be very interesting to see the next rematch against Spain on Sunday. It'll be tough, but I have a lot of confidence in beating Brazil because in some ways, Brazil is not the great team that they've been in their history over basketball history in FIBA. They've always been a very dominant team in FIBA basketball, but that's not the case anymore. It'll be fun. We're going to see Bruno Caboclo on Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. Bruno Caboclo, that's right. Yeah, Neto's out. He got hurt, so he's not playing in the rest of the World Cup. So really, Bruno is their superstar, and it'll be fun to see Canada versus Bruno, 9:30 a.m. on Friday. Yeah, I'm all about it. It's going to be cool. Let's see. Evelyn's here. Granny Evelyn. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Granny Swag. Always happy to see you. Give a kiss on the forehead to baby Candace from the Raptor Freak family, please. Naco the Nacho is here. Good to see Gerald Mayhew. Walkable cities are the best cities. Listen to that. That's a really weird non sequitur. What Naco wants to talk about walkable cities. I agree with him. In some ways, we got to make our city here in Toronto more walkable and less carable. In some ways, we need better public transit in certain ways, or just a city that's designed and conducive to foot traffic and people walking around and wanting to walk around and stuff like that. Building more roads like the 413 or whatever the hell Ford's trying to build on the west side of Toronto. That's not the answer. We need better solutions with public transit. And also, we need to encourage people to carpool more. We need to encourage everybody to just be smarter about your transportation and how you're burning fuel and how you're going about. Every day, this madness starts in the morning on 401 and DVP. Y'all sit out there in your cars, burning gas, burning your time, and wasting your day. There's got to be a better way. And then during the pandemic, we figured out that telecommunicating is very effective and fine for work. So get over yourselves, business owners. Shut down your real estate in your office and telecommunicate and stop making your workers drive in every day, burning up their gas on gas money and burning up our pollution and our environment and just wasting man hours and time sitting on highways for 2 hours every day commuting everywhere. So yeah, let's get better smart vested interests in money and stuff will hold up progress and smart decisions. The smart decisions are already there. So let's go in that direction, you idiots. And stop wasting your time sitting in the car. If you can telecommunicate, let them telecommunicate. Let them work from home. The less people on the car or in the roads is the better. All right, Nako got me off on a tangent. First of all, Gerald Mayhew will be appearing at Comedy Bar Danforth on August the 31st. It's the Sweet and Spicy show. So come on down to Comedy Bar Danforth East and, check out Gerald's comedy stylings tomorrow night on Thursday night at the Comedy Bar East. So yeah, Gerald Mayhew, Naco the Nacho. Go support him, Raptor Freak family. Yeah, Randolph Phillips is saying Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Blessings, 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 blessings. Yes, what a glorious day to be alive. Let's pray and hope for the safety and protection for the people and property in Florida. This is a very interesting thing that you brought up, Randolph Phillips, because there is a hurricane bearing down on my hometown, my town that I grew up in, Tallahassee, Florida. They're saying that this hurricane is going to make landfall at coastal Jefferson County. And that's the county just to the east of Leon County, where Tallahassee is located. So a lot of people, friends and loved ones that I love down in Tallahassee are in the direct path of this big storm coming in right now, this morning in Florida. I pray and for the safety and all good things and good, less damage, and just protect the people of Tallahassee and people of Florida and people that are being affected by the storm this morning. Thank you, Randolph, for your blessings, and blessings to you and your family, the rest of Raptor Freak family, and definitely to the people that are being affected by this big, huge storm in the Big Bend in Florida right now. Yeah, for sure. Fiercely Sarah is in the house. Scotty Barnes, Twitch family, 2022. That's right. Good morning, fam, and happy Wednesday. Team Canada got the job done yesterday. I was nervous at halftime, but they locked on defense and showed up offensively. Yes, Canada, Canada, Canada. That's right, Fiercey. And on that note, you have cued me to go look at the box score today, and I'm going to give you guys my 5 stars of the game. Very interesting 5 stars, I'm going to tell you right now. Now, Canada, let's review. They were down by 10 after one quarter. They were up by 1 at halftime after R.J. Barrett laid up a buzzer beater layup to put Canada up. And I love that kind of feel. It's like, look, that's the buzzer. That's halftime. Play like that's the final buzzer, the end of the game, and be like, I got to win. I got to have us up by 1 by that time. And that's what they did. They rushed that ball down there, and RJ put it in there so we would have a 1-point lead at halftime. That's great practice for clutch situations where you got to die hard and go crazy and get that score no matter what. So very happy to see RJ get that. And then, of course, we were up by 10 after 3, and then we ended up winning by 26 in the end. Canada beating all 3 of their Group H opponents by 25 points at least. And their margin, their point differential is the best out of all teams in the first round, 111 points plus for Canada in their 3 games against the Group H opponents. Absolutely fantastic. Now, Lugetz Dort did not play yesterday, but we're hearing from Josh Lewinberg that it is expected that he will return for our game on Friday. So if you're worried about Lou Dort, we have heard that he should be back for Friday's game, just missing the last 2 games recently. All right, my 5 stars of the game for yesterday. SGA obviously is my number 1 star of the game, 27 points. He had another slow first half where he really wasn't looking good. In fact, he looked like he was forced in the NBA game and the FIBA game. Too much isolation, not working off his teammates, but he fixed that in the second half with 27 points for the whole game, 10 of 17 shooting. You love that. 2 of 7 from 3, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, plus 11. So SGA, fantastic game. You really are one of the best players at FIBA. You know, it really is, to me, a 2-man race. It's between you and Luka Doncic to really argue who the best player at FIBA is. Some people are trying to put in Anthony Edwards, and sure, Anthony Edwards has had an amazing game today. So maybe y'all are the top 3 best players at FIBA World Cup, SGA, Luka, and Anthony Edwards. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm going to get behind my Canada guy for sure. My second star of the game is RJ Barrett, who had one of his better games so far in the FIBA competition this summer. 22 points on 9 of 14 shooting. His shooting has been very poor at the beginning of World Cup, but he's come around. And as he said in the interview after the game, he feels better the last two games with his scoring and his output of what he's been doing. So 9 of 14 from the field for RJ, 4 of 6 from three. We love to see him hitting such good shots from the three-pointer, especially in the second half. He really helped us bust this game wide open by hitting some very timely threes. The Team Canada was not hitting threes in the first half, but they were definitely hitting them in the second half. And the vice versa for Latvia. They were hitting their threes in the first half, but they did not hit them in the second half. That's for sure. When that defensive intensity got ratcheted up a little bit there by Canada. 5 rebounds for RJ, also assist. Not a bad game for him. Just I'm really glad that he was solid in making sure he made the baskets, and a 9 of 14 shooting game is really welcome to see from him. Kelly Olynyk is my third star. We called him Captain Canada yesterday. He is the captain of Canada, and a lot of people are raving about him. Some people saying that he is the MVP of this team on the down low. He is the glue that's keeping this team together and doing all the dirty work and doing really smart leadership kind of stuff, and I won't disagree with y'all. 15 points for Kelly yesterday on 5 of 13 shooting. He took a lot of shots and missed a lot, but he was 2 of 4 from three, which is nice. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block. Plus 29. He had the highest plus minus on Team Canada yesterday. So Kelly Olynyk definitely needs some recognition for what he did out on that court yesterday. Very, very proud of Kelly leading this team. And we're falling in love with him too. We're actually saying we want him on the Raptors now, is what people are saying. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is my fourth star. In 31 minutes, he got 14 points off the bench, 5 of 13 from the field. As Jordy said, he was that shot in the arm that Team Canada needed to wake them up and get them out of their funk at the beginning of the game where they were not playing well. He had 4 offensive rebounds, 5 rebounds total with 2 assists and a steal, a plus 21 plus minus. So he was the second highest plus minus on the team after Kelly Olynyk. Nickeil, very much that shot in the arm off the bench to get Canada back to being normal. Very, very proud of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, SGA, RJ Barrett, and Kelly Olynyk. Now, my fifth star is an unsung hero that y'all may be like, whoa, he's picking this guy right now. And the reasons for it will be very interesting for y'all. I could pick Dylan Brooks, who had early foul trouble, but didn't really become a factor later in the game. I could pick Zach Edey, who came in for less than 1 minute and scored 1 basket. No, I don't want to pick any of those guys. I'm picking Melvin Ejim. Melvin Ejim managed to play 17 minutes in this game, and he did not take a single shot. He scored 0 points. And you're like, Lex, why are you going to pick a guy who didn't score any points? Because Melvin Ejim filled up the stat sheet otherwise. This man had 3 steals. In fact, 3 very key steals. He had 7 rebounds, including 2 offensive ones, and 2 assists. And he was a plus 10 overall. So Melvin, not taking shots, being a role player, and getting out there and doing good stuff, I like to recognize that. So he is my 5th star from yesterday, Melvin Ejim. So good stuff, Canada. We love what y'all did. Fantastic stuff, limiting guys like Davis Bertans. As I said, he missed almost all his three-pointers yesterday. He made 1 3-pointer late in the game when it was way too late. Karatz, Roderon's Karatz, because there's 2 Karatz, the brothers. He had 14 points on 6 of 11 shooting for Latvia. He was really kind of their leading scorer, other than Andreas Grazulis, who had 16 points, 5 of 10 shooting. He was 4 of 4 at the line. So, yeah, really good dominant win on Latvia. After starting slow and getting their ass beat in the first quarter, Canada came around, settled down, and took care of business the right way to make sure they won this game in a big way. We're real excited about Canada. And, in fact, this wave of red and white should become crashing over the whole nation of Canada. We need to shout this out from the top of the mountains across this country and let these people know you need to watch Canada right now. Don't miss the boat. Don't have regret because you did not tune in and watch history being made, Canada. Your team is coming. This team is going to be very good, and you're going to want to watch the whole rest of this tournament if you have not started watching it yet, because you will want to celebrate the victories that are coming towards Canada's way right now. So please, the rest of Canada needs to wake up and come out and support Team Canada. And the media needs to really start talking about them a little bit more than they are right now. This is a big deal. And Canada media, if you don't want to put a shine a light on basketball for some reason in August, well, it's your fault and your problem if you get a lot of people mad because you didn't cover these things correctly. Rogers is already getting major criticism for how they're handling the World Cup in certain ways. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all get your act together and understand what a premier sports event FIBA World Cup is and what people want to watch. Y'all are not supplying the demand that is out there to watch FIBA World Cup. And y'all need to get your ass in gear, is what I'm saying. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's see. Random Gamers here. Good to see Philly fan in the house. What's up, guys? Some good b-ball being played across the world. SGA and Ant-Man are tearing it up. Can't wait for the season and to see these young guys take over the league. Thanks for being here, Random Gamer. Great Philly fan. One of our friendly Philly fans that we enjoy kibitzing and talking with. Yeah, this FIBA World Cup has been fantastic to watch. I'm glad I have good content to make in the middle of August right now. This is a dead period of the year. And having FIBA going on, and then, Rico Runs is on the side too, with their clips coming out every once in a while. In fact, I fully want a Rico Runs clip very soon, Rico. So put something out. But yeah, FIBA has been a refreshing, great thing, the FIBA World Cup right now. And I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it also. Yeah, Anthony Edwards, fantastic. Austin Reeves, Jalen Brunson. It's very interesting what's happening with the U.S. team. And I'm going to talk more about the builds of U.S. roster and Canada's rosters and the differences and what possibly may portend for a possible gold medal game between the USA and Canada at the end of this FIBA World Cup. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself and just expect both teams to make it there. There's still a lot that has to happen, but this will be the discussion tomorrow. Thursday Think Tank, Canada versus US, FIBA World Cup. What's going to happen if this happens? And will it happen? Which team is less likely to get there? Which team is more likely to get to the finals? We'll have to talk about all this tomorrow on our Thursday Think Tank to get ready for the second round of FIBA World Cup 2023. Thank you for being here, Random Gamer. I hope you've had a great summer. And I know you're about to start your second year of university. I hope it goes swimmingly well. All good GPA, brother. And just the best things happening to you over there in the Jersey area, man. Yeah, Trevor J saying people need to stop talking about Coach Darko. He developed a lot of players. I agree with this, Trevor. I completely agree with this. Darko is not even gotten his chance completely. We know about his work with Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson Jr. We know about his time overseas coaching little kids in Serbia that go to Spanish League, to go to G League, to go to NBA, be an assistant coach, and now he's a head coach. He's worked very hard and done all the rungs of a head coaching progression to get to the point where he is the head coach of the Toronto Raptors, and he has deserved this title in getting to this point. Do you think that Masai and Bobby will waste their time for 2 months and really go over a lot of different candidates? We know we talked to a lot of different people, and we took our damn time. You think we're going to take our damn time and talk to all these people and they're going to get the wrong one? No, I'm sorry, Ray Charles in the Pepsi commercial. And he was like, they got the right one, baby. That's what I'm saying. That's right. Just like Ray Charles said in that commercial, they got the right one, baby. And you're going to see that, Raptors fans. Just be patient. Y'all are so people in the moment, instant gratification. Y'all got to realize everything in its right order. We're watching FIBA World Cup. We get to see the great genius of Jordi Fernandez. Yes, right now. But there's a whole other thing that's going to be going on with Darko, having them playing rock, paper, scissors and going to the driving range with OG Anunoby and hitting those balls real far. The vibes are strong. Darko is building this, and have trust in him. And as Trevor's saying, stop talking about him like he's some sort of person who's in trouble with a frivolous lawsuit from New York, and it sullied his name. That is some bullshit from James Dolan and Leon Rose, and you all know it. And don't let that bullshit hang around his head and make it taint your opinion of him because they made up some lies and frivolous shit. So that's just what I'll say about Darko right now. Thank you, Trevor. Let's stand up for our coach who hasn't even coached a game yet. Y'all can't even be critical of him yet because you have not even seen him do his job. So just get over yourselves. Adrian Carter, hi, happy good morning to you. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and join the Rapper Freak channel if you enjoy my content and what we're doing here. Adrian, always good to see new names in the chat. We're here every morning at 9:30 a.m. live, even when there's not FIBA World Cup going on. On Friday, we'll be watching along with the Canada versus Brazil game at 9:30. I give my own personal commentary during the game. So I hope you'll join us, Adrian, on Friday at 9:30 when we watch Brazil, and you can listen to me call the game in crazy ways for Canada, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Monique is saying, let's see what Mo is saying here. La, 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 la. Keep up the great work in the community. Gary Trent Jr., great pictures. All right. Monique has cued me to the Raptors Instagram check. So let's go do that right now. First, we've got Dennis Schroeder hugging his teammates and German teammates for winning. Let's go. He's so happy they won their group. A big, big deal. Very, very big deal. Just like Canada, Germany has never won a group like that. So in some ways, Germany's path is similar to Canada's. They're rising in more in prominence in the FIBA World Cup stage. And that is fantastic to see the success and the happiness for Dennis Schroeder, Toronto Raptors point guard. And I love seeing the happiness and stuff. All right, this is a really cool post. Dennis has a picture of a little mini Curious George on his Instagram stories. And he said he told Ellen Schroeder to win the monkey for him from the machine, and she did it. So Ellen Schroeder winning a toy Curious George for Dennis Schroeder out of the machine, and that's so cute that she won that little Curious George toy for Dennis. What a great wife! Wow, and I bet Dennis is so proud of his wife's athleticism from working the claw machine to get that monkey. Yeah, that's cool. That's very, very cool. I love that. And then also it shows Dennis at a breakfast restaurant sitting there with a big glass of orange juice, it looks like. And Franz Wagner is sitting at the next table. And there's a bunch of German fans coming to get their swag signed by these German heroes at FIBA World Cup. They're sitting at tables and they're just signing autographs on shirts and stuff. So Dennis and Franz, good buddies, German buddies. Here we go. Slim Duck has got some crazy motivational speaker who's talking all crazy. He's stomping his foot. So he's making jokes that he's going to do the sweet chin music, just like Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. And that's pretty funny to me. Always mashing up wrestling with something, Chris Boucher. And then there's more footage of Chris from his boat party a couple of weeks ago when he was out on Lake Ontario with some buddies playing dominoes on a boat. And there's a picture of him back out on the boat. Precious has a really cool picture on his Instagram stories, a black and white picture of him doing the Nick Nurse crouch. And he's kind of just checking out the scene in the court. And he looks ready and hungry. Once again, y'all are saying Precious, Scotty, Pascal, some of these guys are looking more bigger and buffer than ever. And yeah, it looks like that in Precious's picture. He looks like he's got some guns and he's ready to go muscle around on an NBA court very, very soon. I love it. Thad Young always putting on blast his company, Reform Transportation. Y'all, if you need some transportation needs, I don't even know where. I don't know where you can find it, but you could get Reform Transportation to bring you the party bus and come ride around with them. I don't know what city they're for. They may be in Memphis, somewhere in the States. Thad's also putting on blast Thad Young Jr., saying growing 13-year-olds. And it looks like Thad Young Jr. may have hit that age where it's not cool to be filmed by his dad anymore. And he's kind of like dissing him and telling him, stop filming me, Dad. So, whoa, adolescence is here for Thad Young Jr. And he's starting to have his teenage rebellion years and saying, Dad, you're just not cool. You're embarrassing me, Dad. I don't care if you play in the NBA and you're awesome. You're still embarrassing me, Dad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on with Thad Young. It's pretty funny. And Thad Young Jr. Mr. New York City is still writing huge checks that I hope he cashes someday, because I'm like, dude, you are talking mad shit before you even take an NBA court. And some of the stuff you're saying is like, holy crap, I hope he's successful, because all this will look so stupid and dumb if he is not. What he said now, Marquise Noel saying, your biggest mistake is underestimating me. This may be my mistake. I want to see some proof in the pudding first, Marquise. And now I'm about to show you why I'm the one for real. All right. We want to see it. I want you to be as successful as possible. But man, stop writing so many checks right now. Work in silence. You do not need to brag about how you're coming in gangbusters. Come in silence and do it and show it. instead of telling it. I'm just telling you, Marquise, in some ways, you're setting yourself up for more extra pressure than you actually need because you're doing all these social media posts about how you're going to come in and change the world and stuff. Look, if you become the greatest Raptor of all time, I will be very impressed. But I do not think that is likely. Come on now. All right, let's see what else Marquise is getting on blast. He actually went back to New York, so he's not in LA anymore because we see him in the kitchen with a friend of his who's chopping up some sort of Philly cheesesteak kind of thing, and he's making it. And in some ways, I don't like the way the guy's waving the knife around near Marquise. You'd be safe around our rookie two-way player that's coming to the Raptors. You don't need to be waving that knife in the kitchen around dangerously as you're making your little Philly cheesesteak sandwich there, bro. That's Marquise Noel. And they let him go right in the kitchen and film this guy. So he must be friends with him because he's on the other side of the counter filming this guy making him a dinner. It's so funny. Marquise is busting his butt. So he must be a good friend of his from the neighborhood or something like that. All right. Also, Marquise is saying social media has everyone rushing their goals. Remember, comparison is the thief of joy. Focus on you. Now, that's wise. And that is not like the other stuff where you're bragging you could come in like gangbusters. That is just you saying, all right, I got goals. And you know what? You don't need to rush them just because of social media. That's a good thing. Siakam is all about his skills academy in Cameroon right now, year 3 of it. And it's just getting better and better. They're showing clips of them putting all the shoes out on the court and the kids coming in and getting brand new shoes. It is absolutely fantastic how he's giving back to the kids at Cameroon in his skills academy right now. He's got the girls out there. He's got the boys out there practicing and playing, doing drills. He shows the coach showing the kid how to shoot the proper form. And then the coach shows him and gets it right with his feet squared and lined up. And boom, the guy drains the shot. That's beautiful. And Pascal loves it. Really, really fun footage coming out of Cameroon with Pascal and his Skills Academy. It's more and more stuff coming out as the days go by this week while he's out there. So good, Siakam. What you're doing over there is so important. Malachi Flynn, once again, as I say, he's giving back to the community with a jersey giveaway or something from his Malachi Flynn camp. Now, Koloko is back in Arizona. He's at University of Arizona's court, and he just did a windmill slam, a nice little windmill slam. And, you know, in some ways, I like the way Koloko's moving in that Arizona footage right there because he's moving not like he has been moving for the Raptors in his rookie season. He looked a lot more mobile and a lot more free and kind of like loose. In some ways, he played that way at Arizona, and that was part of his success of being a Defensive Player of the Year in the Pac-10, things like that. But in the NBA, he's a little more rigid and a little less flexible because he's a little nervous and it's a new thing. I want you to get that swagger that I saw on that Arizona court with that windmill slam there, Christian Koloko. Get your nerves down because I can tell your nerves are different on that court, which is very familiar, and you have memories of being in that way. And let's get that going on the NBA level. Because look, you have footwork and you have an agility and you have a movement that you can do at your height that is really special. And we need you to get unlocked a little bit more this season to help out Darko and him being successful in his first year as a Raptors coach. So Arizona, Koloko, please come to Toronto and become Toronto Koloko also. Because Arizona Koloko is a much more fluid, moving around guy who's a little less, who's a lot more fearless and ready to go at people with less fear. And I want that I want that guy. I want that guy in Toronto. Less fear. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Here we go. All right. Thank you, Monique, for the cue to do the Instagram. Oh, wait, there's more. Grady Dick is putting a friend of his on blast who's getting his hair cut. It's his birthday. That's basically it. Really, really silly stuff. Really silly stuff. Okay, Grady Dick saying happy birthday to his buddy who's getting his haircut. All right, let's see. Nameless is saying, Nacho, I need some show times for September weekends. Well, this is just the latest one. As they come, Nameless, I'll put them on blast, and we'll let you guys know when Gerald Mayhew will be appearing in comedy clubs around the Toronto area. So we'll let you guys know next time after this one, Nameless. All right. Dana's saying, I'm not burning gas. I'm not driving. I have a flat waiting for CAA. That's horrible, Dana. Holy crap. Now we can go back to Trevor J's words of wisdom. Well, you are getting experience right now. That's too bad. I hate this. Somebody call CAA for Dana, who's out there on the side with the flat. I hate hearing that for Dana right now. G's saying, is Scotty in Florida? I think he is, but let's just put it this way, G. He's in South Florida, so he's not really in the direct path of the storm. Normally, he would be. Palm Beach gets way more hurricanes than Tallahassee, but this one's hitting North Florida. So if Scott is still in South Florida with Cardi, he is out of the path of this storm, and he should be safe. If you're worried about Scotty, I'll give you a little Jim Cantor Weather Channel kind of news here, and just the geography of Florida. That storm's hitting where I'm from up north, where Florida State is, and it's not hitting Miami, South Palm Beach area. So Scotty should be safe in this thing, unless he's traveling up, but he should be flying, not driving through there if he's coming back to Toronto. So if he is in South Florida, he's safe. He's not in North Florida. It's North Florida that's dangerous right now. Random Gamer saying, yeah, it looks like Georgia's going to get the brunt force of it. I'm praying for my cousin's uncle and aunt, man. Scary stuff. That's this thing. I lived in Florida. Tallahassee's that little bit of Florida between Georgia and the Gulf of Mexico. And yeah, they're getting a direct hit. And I'm hearing a lot of my friends on Facebook that live in Tallahassee are talking about it right now and getting ready for it and bracing for it. And all the other friends and family of those people around are praying for them and posting messages of hoping that they're okay this morning as this storm hits the Big Bend area in Florida this morning. Yeah, I'm praying for them too, Random Gamer, and I hope your family is very safe from this storm also. G saying, Knicks fans saying Barrett needs to wear a Canada jersey when he plays for them so he turns it up. Why don't y'all just let him come to Toronto and we'll let him play for the Raptors? How about that? He can wear a Canada jersey, the Toronto Raptors Canada jersey with the little maple leaf on it there. And that may get his shine. Well, Knicks fan, whatever you're trying to do or whatever you want, I don't want it because usually you want success for yourselves, and I don't want that for y'all. So, yeah, no, you can't borrow the likeness and proprietary license of the Team Canada jersey to let him wear that. No, you can't, New York. No extra edges, especially since y'all are trying to sue us, you punk asses. Yeah, trying to sue the Raptors with your frivolous shit. Yeah, no, you don't get RJ Barrett in a Canada jersey. No, you don't. Excuse me. All right. Dana's laughing about it. She likes it. Monique's saying 3 stars of the game for her are SGA, RJ, and of course, Kelly with a bonus for Nickel. So basically, same as you, Lex. Thanks, Monique. Yeah, I mean, the prominent scorers really are SGA and RJ. Kelly is the captain. All these guys have good roles. And tomorrow, we're going to talk more about that and why I think that may be the trump card, the thing that puts them over the U.S. team eventually in this World Cup. We're going to talk about U.S. versus Canada tomorrow, Thursday Think Tank. And I want to hear what y'all's opinions are about a possible matchup between Team USA and Team Canada at the end of this tournament in the gold medal game. Random Gamer, I would like to invite you to come back and maybe argue a side for USA just in case we get too homerish for Canada on this channel. We might need a counterpointer, somebody to give us a counterpoint. Cowboy saying, good morning, Lex, Bam, and Raptor Freaks. Let's go, Canada, the home of basketball. Dr. James T. Naismith, he came from here, y'all. Yes, Weird Al is strong in me. Yes. Fiercely saying, to be honest, I'm not even paying attention to the U.S. team. Still bitter, Scotty's not a part of it. Well, I want to just plug real quick NBA Quick Takes. We're doing a great piece on this week. I actually went and watched it yesterday, and he's talking about this a lot. I'm totally with him on this. This is actually a bullet dodge. We don't need Scotty over there with this going on right now. I don't think this is a slight. As a Quick Take said, and I'm going to give him full credit here, the way they selected the U.S. team was not by trying out and cutting people. They very much just selected people. There was no rhyme or reason. They just said, you know what? And this is how he put it. He said, the people that are very healthy and in a top of their game and kind of fit together, that's who they went and got. And in some ways, I don't know, maybe they did factor in that he does play for Canada and Toronto. But we got to remember, Kyle and DeMar were also on U.S. Olympic teams in the past playing for Toronto, and that was not a big deal. If Scotty has aspirations to be on Team USA, I'm sure he will get that at some point down the road. But right now, it really isn't kind of a good summer for him with the timing of things to be on Team USA and have that distraction. In some ways, he needs to be working on his game at home. In some ways, he would develop playing for Team USA, but he could very easily be like one of the guys at the very end of the bench, not getting any time and just getting frustrated. And in some ways, we don't want him traveling, playing all these games, doing all this stuff right now when he should be resting and getting ready for the season for the Raptors. This is the reason why some NBA fans are like, I don't want my stars playing at FIBA because I don't want them to get hurt. I want them to rest. And I don't want them to be over there with the risks of those kind of things. So in some ways, this is good peace of mind for Raptors fans that Scotty is not playing for Team USA right now. I'm not watching them either. I'm seeing some of the highlights and I'm hearing different things. I'm hearing Brandon Ingram grumbling. We'll talk more about this tomorrow, Team USA. But in some ways, we dodged a bullet, Scotty not being on that team. And I'm not upset about it. I think that, you could say there's a ton of very good American players that aren't on Team USA. Are we going to go say all of them are snubbed? LeBron, Kevin Durant, Trae Young. He said he wanted to be on Team USA, but he's not on Team USA. Trae Young. So it really was a particular kind of player they wanted, and they wanted to get a certain profile. And in some ways, Scotty could have fit that profile. Sure, Paulo's on that team, the rookie of the year from this year. Scotty's a rookie of the year from the year before. He should maybe be on that team too. But no, that's just not how it is. And in some ways, that's very good that Scotty is not playing on Team USA right now. I'm really happy about it, actually. The more I think about it, I'm glad he's not playing for them. Really am. Trevor J's giving us a score update. Hang on. I got to clear my throat. And Adriana's come back. She's back from Aquafit. Let's see. Trevor's saying Canada, or no, not Canada. That is actually Kate. You're going to mess me up with your acronym because that's not the right acronym, Trevor J. Who is playing that game? All right, you got to give me the right information, Trevor, because Canada is not playing Puerto Rico right now. You got to give me that's the Canada acronym. So hang on, let me go look at it. Puerto Rico, China. That's supposed to be China. That should be a CHN, not a CAN. Puerto Rico has defeated China, it looks like, the final score, pretty big, 107-89. So Puerto Rico is officially in the second round. Another America's team moves forward. So now we have Canada, USA, Dominican Republic, Brazil, and Puerto Rico. 5 of the 7 America's teams are advancing to the second round. 2 eliminated, Mexico and Venezuela. Too bad that Puerto Rico couldn't lose today and be eliminated also in the first round. So thanks for the score update, Trevor. Even if you put Canada in there to mess me up, it should be CHN, China. China was playing in that game. Nameless saying, if you people are impressed with Jordy, just stay tuned for Darko. Woo-hoo-hoo. I like what Nameless is saying. Let's get the anticipation for the fun stuff Darko's going to do. Yeah, I'm all about this. Many people are very much applauding the rotations of Jordy Fernandez. We're so used to Nick Nurse and his stingy, static, same bullshit every game that seeing somebody who's a little bit more artistic and flexible and changing the rotations is refreshing. And that's part of the reason why everybody loves Jordy so much right now. Well, Darko's going to do the same thing, and Nameless is exactly right. We're going to feel a refreshing newness with Darko Rajakovic coaching the Raptors instead of Nick Nurse coming up. Watch. Nameless saying this controversy surrounding Darko makes him even more appealing to an Italian like me. I love that. My paisan Nameless is like, yeah, why not a little darkness around Darko? Why not a little controversy? A little, what's going on here? Yeah, he likes this. I get this, Nameless, and I totally agree. You want an edge. There's something that we lacked last year. We had no edge, no friction. Everybody was just kind of like, oh, we're here. We play for the Raptors. Coach, what should we do? Go score baskets. We got to win. All right, Nick, do you want to call a play? No, just get out there and make some shots. Okay, Nick, give us some plays maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm all about that. Yeah. G saying, didn't Sergio mentor both Jordy and Darko? I feel they would be very similar in style and communication. Yeah, I know he's got connections to both those guys, Jordy through the Spanish League and Darko through the Spanish League. It really is the Spanish League that kind of bonds all these guys together. And, an Italian guy, a Spanish guy, and a Serbian guy. Yeah, I could see that. One of the other things that people are saying that they really like about Jordy and the difference between Jordy and Nick Nurse is that in FIBA and a play and pass with Nick Nurse as our coach, he's shown his anger just like he does on the sidelines for the Raptors, where he kind of gets really mad at the refs sometimes. And in some ways, that hurt us in FIBA competition, Nick Nurse's fieriness. Some people are noticing the Jordy's handling of the refs and his firmness and not losing his cool and anger like Nick would has been actually helpful for Team Canada instead of Nick having a little temper tantrum like he would do on the coaching side. So it's a nice change of pace with that. Instead of a temper tantrum towards the refs, where the refs may be upset with us and not help us out, Jordy has a nice firm demeanor with them where he's like, I want this, but he's not yelling at them and he's not getting all butthole face with them. So that's a big difference they're saying between Jordy and Nick right now is that Nick kind of hurt us in FIBA competition with this bombastic butthole facing. Yeah, there you go. David's laughing at Nameless because of the comment about the Italian, thing. Yeah, that's pretty good. Cowboys saying Darko, bam, and Darko, Masai, Monique, Lex, Raptors, bam. Yeah, I like that. Nameless is laughing. Haha, this guy Darko. Now that's commitment. That's right. I want to see this dude. Like, listen, you sullied your name. Now you got to go make your name good again, Darko. 6-game win streak to open the season. That's what I want to see. That's what Nick Nurse did as a rookie head coach for the Raptors in the year that we won the championship in 2019. Come out gangbusters, win your first 6 games of the season, just like Nick did against Nick in the third game of the season. That'd be awesome. I love that. G saying part of why Dennis came, or maybe the main reason he came here, is partly because of Darko. Yeah, I think the intention, Dennis did want to come to Toronto at some point, but it's just lining up nicely that Darko is going to be here as our coach also at the same time. He would have came here and played for Nick Nurse also, but he probably would prefer to play for Darko Rajakovic, somebody he's more familiar with. So I can't speculate if this is for sure, but Dennis is definitely not unhappy coming to Toronto and playing for Darko. We know that. Fiercely saying Latvian coach saying it's unfair they played with 3 American referees. That's what they're saying from the game yesterday. Were there 3 referees that were American yesterday? I didn't think that those referees were American. I don't know the nationalities. This is a weird controversy, first of all. Latvia, that didn't have anything to do with why y'all lost. Come on, man. Now, there's another coach that has a gripe going on right now this morning that I'd like to touch on. Angola's coach is very upset. And this is what Angola's coach is saying this morning. Pep Claros Canals is not a fan of countries naturalizing players. This is on ESPN. An article this morning where he's complaining specifically about the Dominican team that put them out this week, saying that it's messed up. Like, here's some of his quotes. We can sign and import like most of the national teams, and maybe we're going to score more threes, but I don't believe this is correct. And I really think that FIBA must stop this as soon as possible. Otherwise, in some years, there will be no local product. Each country needs to develop their own players. This is what I think. There are players that don't even speak the language of the country that they represent. There are countries which have 7, 8 players that were born outside that country. So he's very upset, and he has a good point about the Dominican team in particular. Dominican Republic, which has no naturalized players, like he's saying, but they have 6 of their players that were actually born outside the Dominican Republic, including Karl Anthony Towns. This basically what Dominican did was they had to give all these guys passports before they turned 16, a Dominican passport, and then they legally are allowed to play for Dominican as citizens. But like the Angola coach is saying, well, what the hell? What's going to stop all these countries from not just going to get tons of ringers and doing weird stuff with passports and naturalization? In some ways, I get his point, but also I understand why FIBA did in the first place, because they wanted to give teams that were very small countries a little bit of a chance by being able to get a naturalized ringer, just like Rondé Hollis Jefferson's been doing for Jordan to help them out just a little bit. I don't know. In some ways, I get it. Let's make it purely those countries and citizens from those countries, or at least people of lineage from those countries. In some ways, the Angola coach's complaint about Dominican is kind of silly because the Dominican players all have ties to Dominican Republic family-wise. So it's not like Karl Anthony Towns doesn't have Dominican lineage in his life. So I don't know. This is a tough thing to kind of navigate, and it should just be the fair rules for everybody the same across. But because of these naturalization rules, everybody's kind of treating them differently. Like Dominican's not using the naturalization rule that Jordan's using with Rondé Hollis Jefferson, but they could. They could go out and get another player that's not even connected to Dominican Republic and play them. So there's different levels of like, well, I think that fits with Dominican in some ways, just because they all have connections to Dominican, even if they were not born there. So it's a tough subject. And I'm not smart enough to figure it out for myself. I have some opinions on it. I think that the team should have identities that go along with the countries that they represent for sure. And, Kyle Anderson playing for China is a little weird. Rondé Hollis Jefferson playing for Jordan's a little weird also. So very interesting stuff. I thought this might be a controversy during this World Cup, and it has been. Yes, it did very much became one of these controversies. So Angola very upset with Dominican Republic. And there's a gripe right there. I think we're going to kick Dominican Republic's ass no matter what if we get to face them. Canada. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. David is laughing. Nameless is saying, so our beef about there being more Canadian refs in the NBA is legitimate then. Yeah, I don't understand that argument about American refs or whatever. The refs we had, I'm not even sure if those refs we had yesterday were actually all American refs, because I don't think that lady ref is actually American. And the guy who was like calling the game really strongly, he was pretty good. Like the dude, the main ref guy, he was very good, and he didn't totally look American to me either. But I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Here we go. There's the referees. They're actually completely wrong. All right, Jenna Renault. That blonde ref is a WNBA ref and an NBA ref that I have actually scouted and studied. I knew she looked a little familiar. So the blonde ref for our game yesterday was actually, she's the only American out of those refs. The other two refs, one was from Argentina. The main ref, the guy that I was just talking about, Juan Fernandez, he is from Argentina. And the third ref was from Puerto Rico, Johnny Batista. Now, maybe the argument is that they were all from the Americas and they're not American. It was that all three refs were from America's countries, and that Latvia wasn't happy about that because there was an American, a Puerto Rican, and an Argentinian that were refereeing this game. Now, Argentina didn't even have a game at the World Cup, so you can't get mad at that, dude. And honestly, Latvia, you really think that those Americas referees are trying to help Canada if they're from other countries? Nah. In some ways, they are rivals to us to get to the Olympics. So in some ways, I'm going to deem this as a judge in this court of opinion that your allegations are unfounded, Latvian coach. Your stupid ass America's problem with America's referees. They're not all American, just one of them. And none of them were Canadian. Y'all got beat by Canada. And Argentina and Puerto Rico's actually in direct competition for us. So that would mean that Puerto Rican ref would be possibly biased against us. So yeah, I just cut that up real good and left it on the floor in shambles. What you just brought up, Latvian coach. Yeah, there you go. That's what you hear. That's what you get. Thank you, Fiercey, for bringing up the controversies about that. I did not know about that. There's David putting the umlaut O out there. I love it. I love it. Yes. Celebrate Dennis and put that umlaut out there. Yeah. Nameless is saying, I wish Marquise would stop doing that and adding all this additional pressure on him. But if he does succeed and he does everything he's saying, it'll be so epic. It'll be like Babe Ruth pointing to the center field. It'll be like Muhammad Ali predicting he's going to kick the shit out of somebody and then coming in and kick the shit out of him in a boxing ring. So in some ways, there's something great about him doing it. But in some ways, dude, you're writing a lot of checks right now that I hope they don't bounce later. That's what I'm saying. Oh, my gosh. David's saying maybe he operates better under pressure. Some do. That may be very well what it is. Like maybe he's going to feel embarrassed if he doesn't succeed right away. Maybe he's going to be like, I said all that stuff. I feel cringe about myself. I cannot not succeed. I have to succeed because I said all this shit and I don't want to look like an idiot. I get it. That makes sense. Sheriff Seymour Pape is in the house. What up, Sheriff? Canada versus the world. That's right. Holding it down in Calgary, Alberta, Canada for us, Mr. Pape. Holding it down there. Canada. That's right, Seymour. Let's go. Canada. Isaac Campbell holding it down in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, the nation's capital. Always good to see the benevolent Isaac Campbell, one of our great benevolent per people of this channel, Canada getting a taste of that sweet, sweet maple syrup. Canada, baby. Yes, Isaac, thank you for the great sweet stack with, yeah, that 100% Canadian maple syrup, 26 points of Canadian maple syrup yesterday on top of that pancake stack called Latvia. That's right. Poured it on real thick and that pat of butter right at the end. That's just like my salami and cheese. Get that pat of butter and stick it on that flapjack stack because that 100% Canadian maple syrup has been poured on thick. That is right. Thank you, Isaac Campbell. That's right. Oil drums of that Canadian maple syrup is coming down from the air from RJ Barrett and SGA and the rest of Team Canada. Just violating, like Chevis said, teams at World Cup, violating teams badly by 25 plus points every game. That's right. Tom Duke's got so many oil drums of that 100% Canadian maple syrup ready to go for the second round in Brazil. Yeah, let's gunk them up real quick. In fact, you know, the Brazil matchup is a head-to-head Americas versus Americas. So, yeah, they want that spot. We want that spot. Somebody got to win. So we need to beat their ass so that they go bye-bye and they don't get that spot. That's a real quick way to make more of a path to get in the Olympics. Take one of your competitors out and beat them. You beat them on Friday, Canada. That's a team that's not going to get in the Olympics over you because you beat them. That's what I want to see. That's right. Isaac's got me and Mo on blast. 100% Canadian. That's right, baby. So Canadian, they couldn't put me in America and make me American. They wanted to assimilate me. For 20 years, I lived in the United States from the age of 4 to, well, I actually was more than 20 years, but at different times. I never assimilated. I was a proud Canadian on the state side the whole time. That's right. When they made me say the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning, I had my fingers crossed and I was singing, "Oh, Canada." That's right. Every day in public school in Florida. That's what I was doing. That's right. Tom Duke saying champions of the world. That's what we want. Team Canada, FIBA World Cup 2023, champions of the world. Say it, and you will put it into existence. Say it, and SGA and RJ will go get it. Team Canada, FIBA World Cup champions 2023. Say it loud, say it proud. World champions, baby. That's what we want. David Saborin is saying Tom Ducarella is in the house, huh? Yes, Tom Duke. Yes. Good morning, Vietnam and Indonesia. Yes. Seymour Page saying, why the Knicks suing us? Because they're idiots, because they're from New York, because they're trolls from under the bridge, because they're grasping at straws, because they're just idiots. That comes right back to being idiots once again. In fact, they may be getting in trouble for suing us. We're not going to get in any trouble. They can't prove nothing to make us get in trouble and have to pay them. They're idiots. They're just going to look stupid. They brought up some frivolous lawsuit that can't be proven, and they're going to just go home and be like, we tried. And Adam Silver's going to hate them for bringing a black eye into the press, an NBA team suing another NBA team. He doesn't want any of that mess going on. So, yeah, good job, New York. You're idiots trying to get all litigious culture, lawyer culture. Well, let's just sue them. Damn it. Okay, let's do it. You idiots. You're not going to get nothing. There's nothing proprietary about your stupid-ass plans. There's stupid-ass team. Yeah, nobody needs your plans, New York Knicks. You're idiots. Yeah, there you go. Nameless is saying Tomasino Ducarelli. Yes, Tomasino. Yes, I'm speaking Italian today. Trevor J is saying this now. Let's see what Trevor's saying. I just leave North Florida on Sunday to come back to Toronto. Sounds like you evacuated just in time, Trevor J. Sounds like he evacuated just in time, getting out of the storm's path. That's right. Seymour Pape has got some cool red dude, and he's got the Chomp Chomp coming to get him. That's right. Chomp Chomp. And let's see. Cowboys saying T.O. That's right. Isaac Campbell saying, how can Canada and Toronto both be world champions when we beat America? I don't know. In some ways, I don't want to call the NBA champions world champions anymore. I get it. It does sound stupid. And in some ways, it disses the real world champions, either the Olympic champions or the FIBA World Cup champions. So the world champion should be the one who plays in these kind of games. Now, if we get club tournament of champions where the NBA champion plays the Italian league champion, the Spanish league champion, the Australian league champion, the African league champion, the South American league champions, then we can get all about world championship with the professional leagues like the NBA. But until the Denver Nuggets go and play the Italian league champion, the Spanish league champion, the South American league champion, the African league champion, the Australian league champion, the Asian league champion, then we will not have a world champion that can be called that with the NBA. And I agree. Coach Popovich, he said himself, why are we calling the NBA champion world champion? We didn't play nobody outside the NBA borders. That don't make no sense. That's right. Let's go. Nameless saying, we're going to whoop USA. It's fate. Charles Barkley thinks that, and I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow. Charles Barkley talking about USA and success and failure. Very interesting these days. Seymour saying Austin Reeves is overrated. Christian Braun is better, in my opinion. Wow, Seymour, that's a really good quick hit right there. Quick take. Yeah, NBA quick take right there. I won't disagree with this. Austin Reeves is so overrated right now. Obviously, Laker Nation's going to put a premium plus and overrate him. Then you put the color of his skin and the Team USA wanting to have a white hero on that team, they're going to overrate him. So there's a little bit of that going on right now, a little percentage of inflation of his rating just because of these factors, Lakers and him being the white guy on the team. So I'm going to say that right now. In some ways, he's getting a pump up in some ways that may not totally be fair or accurate. You go ahead and inflate his value and overpay him, Lakers. No problem with that. You mess up your salary cap by overpaying that kid who may have had some good times recently, but really, y'all think he's like that forever? No, he's not. In some ways, this motherfucker's like Linsanity. He may get a little bit of time like this, and then you're going to get Jeremy Lin with a high payroll on you for the rest of his career. So you go ahead and buy into his little heyday right now. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think this dude's going to be him forever, him forever. No. I think he's going on a nice little run like Jeremy Lin did around the New York Knicks a while back. You go ahead and think that fool's gold is real gold. You go ahead, Lakers Nation. Yeah. Nameless saying, where the hell is Iceman? Come on, bro. We know you're still watching. Once a freak, always a freak. Well, Iceman, I saw that he's on To The Point. I went and watched The King and Coach Roach talking about who they think this Raptors starting five will be for this season. Not a bad clip. Go check out To The Point with The King. Brian, he's really good. A friend of mine, he's all right. And Iceman was in the comments over there, and Tom Ducarelli was talking to him, telling him we love and respect him, and he's always welcome on the Raptor Free channel. We have no gripe with Iceman. In some ways, he got mad at me because I told him we don't need to be trying to be better than each other by coaching experience and talking to each other like that. We're a family, and we all share things together, and we all have different experience in this world. Some of us do know a lot about basketball and have coached very high levels of basketball, and some of us have not, but we're not poo-pooing each other just because of that kind of stuff. And that's what got him mad at me, is that I wasn't respecting totally his coaching experience and stuff he's done around Seattle and Tacoma just to say him over somebody else. I thought that they both had good points, and there was nothing wrong with both of them having their opinions. And he wasn't tolerant of that. So it is what it is. But he's allowed here anytime. He's a very positive Raptors fan. We love him. And I have no problem with him. Hopefully, maybe the season starts. Maybe we'll see him come back around. Maybe he doesn't. And that trivia championship is up for grabs. Fiercely Salsera, Isaac Campbell, Ahmed the GOAT. Y'all go get it. Y'all got to chase to go get him and then get above him by the end of the season. And you'll get the great prize that's coming this way. I got something crazy to tell y'all. First of all, the prize for the trivia championship this year will be awarded by current trivia champion David Saborin. David Saborin is going to be the one who's getting the trophy together for y'all's trivia season this year. So whoever's going to win this trivia, the prize is picked by our current champion. Now, Trevor J has something else going on with me coming up also. So David's going to be given the award for the trivia. And then Trevor J is our new fantasy commissioner, y'all. This is going to be Commissioner Trevor J is the commissioner of our fantasy leagues, and he has a new trophy that he will award to our NBA fantasy champion for this upcoming season, y'all. So it's going to be called the Trevor J. O'Brien Award, and it's a mini Larry O'Brien trophy, and it comes with a championship ring. So y'all going to want to play our NBA fantasy league this year because you're going to get a real Larry O'Brien little trophy as donated by Trevor J., our new commissioner of fantasy sports on the Raptor Free channel. He's all about wanting fun and giving awards to everybody. And Trevor J. is our new commissioner of fantasy sports on this channel. And it's going to be fun. We have a couple of more surprises coming up for y'all in the next couple of months with the NBA season starting. So get ready for more fun. Commissioner of Fun, Trevor J, is in the house. He's our new commissioner of fantasy sports on this channel. That's right. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's keep going in the comments. Isaac is saying W to Mike, logical and solid person. Yes, we miss logical Raptors fanatic, and we will see him back. I'm positive he'll come back. Hopefully, nothing horrible has happened to Mike in his life, and he's okay. And hopefully, he shows back up around when the season starts. I've totally missed the presence of Logical Raptors Fanatic in this channel and also his content on his channel. I've missed those Saturday drops at 2 o'clock, Mike. So we want you back, just like Iceman, like Irvin, and other people that are taking the summer off. We know y'all will come back around the season when the Raptors are starting to play. That'll be good. Fiercely saying Yahoo Sports out in reference to Latvia coach complaining. Okay, that's where you found that article on the Latvian coach complaining about that. Well, you know what? They seem like little whiny little bitches. They're gonna cry at the end of the game, and they're gonna act all sad and boo-hoo-hoo. Whatever, Latvia, get over yourself. There's nothing wrong with those referees yesterday. They did an excellent job. Y'all just got your ass beat. How can you say that's the refs that did that to you? That was SGA and RJ that did that to you. So don't even what is this? You gonna blame the refs for this? Come on. What did you want? You wanted a Spanish ref? You wanted an Italian ref? You needed a European ref to make it more even? Bullshit. Those America's referees are more likely to screw over Canada than help them. Trust me. Most saying Greg Popovich on his comments from 2010 on World Champions. Your full thoughts here, Lex. I think he's right. In some ways, the world champion moniker has been used around the NBA for decades. In some ways, it may have been apropos at different times, but not always, and it really isn't. In some ways, the FIBA game and the world has come up so strong, but the argument is that the best players in the world play in the NBA. So in some ways, that's how they can say that still. It's not about the best players. It's not about the individuals. It's about the teams and the team game. And that Team Spain playing the Denver Nuggets in a world championship final, I would pay to see that. The top team in the world should play the NBA team, the top country, or the top teams from the different leagues. I'm telling you, we got to figure this out. And there's money on the table y'all are leaving there, Adam Silver, by not, I guess maybe they don't want the NBA champion to have a full summer of just playing, and they're just going to be completely tired out. They already play all the way to the end to get the championship, and then they're supposed to go on a tour and play world teams to absolutely win that world championship. Yeah, you want to be the best, you got to keep going and go harder. And in some ways, this will make it even harder for people to repeat because they won't have hardly any summer off because they got to go out there and prove that they're world champions beyond the NBA. Yeah, Fiercely saying, yes, you're right, Lex. He's saying from the Americas. Well, that's stupid. Like I said, Puerto Rico is in direct competition with us for one of the spots. And one of those coaches, one of those referees is from Puerto Rico. The U.S. is in direct competition for one of those spots with us. One of those referees is from the U.S. And then the third ref is from Argentina, a team that got disqualified and didn't even make it here. So he's impartial. It's bullshit. They're just going to look for an excuse, it sounds like. Latvia, you're making up excuses. I'm surprised you're not saying we lost because Kristaps didn't suit out or because older Bertans didn't suit up today. Those are better excuses than using the officials. Seriously. Kareem Thomas is here. Good to see Kareem Thomas, dunk champion. Dennis, the menace, should be starting point guard of our beloved Raptors. He has shown that he could do it himself in FIBA, and he's shown that he can create for others. Great pickup. Kareem's very high on Dennis starting, and I am too, to a degree. I think it's between him and Gary. That fifth starting spot should be determined between Gary Trent Jr. and Dennis Schroeder, and it really may have to be the factor of whether Scotty is the true point guard or not. If Scotty's the true point guard, then he should be starting with Gary. But if they need that Scotty to be kind of a ball distributor off the ball, but not the point guard, Dennis should be starting. Dennis is so unselfish. He doesn't have to hardly shoot at all. I've seen many games in his career where he does not score hardly any points, but he gets a lot of assists, and he's very active, and he's very good on defense, but he's not taking the shots. In some ways, you want more players like that on your team. A guy who's so unselfish, they don't need to score on any given night. They're not worried about their scoring average. And that's who Dennis Schroeder is. In some ways, we need him to keep the pace up in the game in a controlled, very smart way, instead of maybe an inexperienced, kind of like out of control way that Scotty might do it. So we'll have to see. In some ways, maybe Dennis should come off the bench and be the hook for Scotty if he's too wild in the starting lineup as the point guard. If Scotty's too wild with his passing and turnovers and just not being successful getting the offense going, then you got a backup plan with Dennis coming in off the bench. I don't think you can go wrong with either option. Dennis is a great bench player or starter, and so is Gary. So in some ways, that's a luxury for both. Both of those guys can come in and be either, and it could be very well that Darko does it matchup based. That maybe Dennis does start some games and Gary starts some games. It depends on who we're playing. So I'm excited about this, Kareem, and I agree. Dennis is showing aptitude and leadership with Team Germany right now. That's really probably selling a lot of people on him in the same way that you're getting sold on him. Kareem's also saying, "What's your thoughts on the term NBA World Champions? I believe 2019 Toronto Raptors are the only team who's allowed to use the term, other than the country who wins the Olympics." I like your line of thinking. I think you're right. In some ways, people say, "Oh, well, the NBA is not really the world." Well, Toronto's involved, and there are two countries involved in the NBA, and that makes it an international league. But it is a stretch to say world champions. Maybe we say the North American champions, because we can't even really say they're the champions of South America. So it's a convoluted semantics kind of thing. In some ways, I get it. The NBA wants to say we're the world champions. The NFL says the Super Bowl champions are the world champions. People laugh at that because hardly anybody plays American football around the world. And what a world champion of football, that's nothing like the world champion of football, soccer. So yeah, that's silly. And then baseball, you're gonna say you're the world champions of baseball if you win the World Series? That's not totally true either. It's a similar situation with the MLB and the NBA, is that they have one Canadian team, the Blue Jays. And in some ways, there's World Series stuff, international baseball play, that maybe they should be looking at that baseball team that wins that as the world champions instead. So the argument could be made on both the NBA and the MLB in the same way. The NHL is a totally different kind of thing. And I don't think anybody's stupid enough to say the NHL champion is the world champion, but they do probably, because there's a lot of very good hockey in other places that needs to be considered also. So yeah, it's convoluted, it's semantics, and in some ways it's up to the individual what they want to believe. But in some ways, calling the NBA champion the world champion is stupid. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Shaq Lindsay's here. They say, "Love Shaq, baby, love Shaq, baby, love Shaq." Yeah. Scotty is in the weight room putting on some muscle. Everyone talks about offense with Scotty, but defense, he will be a nightmare for opposing teams. I think that is something that he's focusing on a lot. He kind of said that at the end of the season, is that if he wants to be the best player that he wants to be, he's got to get his conditioning up for the defensive end. He's not talking about the offensive end. Sure, he's going to make his shot better from the outside, so people have to respect him and guard him. That was a problem last year. His shot was so bad, they left him. And he needs to make them pay for that this year. And it's looking like he's working on that. But you're exactly right, Shaq Lindsay. Scotty's work this summer in conditioning and muscle is for the defensive end. And I want these Raptor casual youngster fans that just love Scotty like he's Scott Baio on the Tiger Beat cover to understand that Scotty Barnes, in some ways, is a very, very dominant defensive player inside himself. And in some ways, we will get more out of him and win more as a team on the Raptors if he goes heavy on his defensive side like OG has in the past and worries about that first. Y'all want his offense to blossom and blow up fast. And maybe that's not the schedule we need to be worried about right now. Maybe we need to worry about Scotty's defensive side of the ball and seeing him develop and get crazy dominant on that side of the ball, because the offense stuff will come easy from that. So I love this comment, Shaq Lindsay. I think you're very astute on this, and I think you're exactly right. I think that people are misreading Scotty and what his intentions are for the season are, and they're much more in line with what you're saying than what casual fan thinks or wants for Scotty. May not even be what Scotty wants for himself. So yeah, there you go. Great comment, Shaq Lindsay. Great to see you. Chris comes here. Good to see the great Chris come, our prognosticator, our Nostradamus of the channel. I always love hearing what Chris has to say. Let's see what he's saying. Long time, Lex. Good to see you. Rabbit Freak is always welcome back at the Rabbit Freak channel. Doesn't matter if y'all leave for a day, a week, a month, a year. Y'all come back here. I will always welcome y'all back, and I will never ever judge how long y'all been gone. I don't know how long Chris has been gone. I'm just happy to see him back. What do you think about Giannis potentially coming here? I'm not a fan. I'd rather beat him again. Keep doing your thing, bro. Thanks, Criscom. I appreciate that. This is a great topic. It's come up again this week that Giannis is wondering about his future in Milwaukee and about whether he should invest in being there the long term with an extension further than his contract right now. He wants to make sure he's on the same page as the Milwaukee Bucks team and his teammates. It's very interesting. It sounds like he's unsure about the team under Adrian Griffin. I watched a very interesting Jake Takes yesterday. Jake's Takes, the young man who's doing interviews with sports athletes around sports, and he has a new one out yesterday with Drew Holiday. And Drew Holiday was talking about the change from Budenholzer to Adrian Griffin and how weird it is not having Budenholzer's presence around the Milwaukee Bucks right now. He likes the new regime. He didn't really say a whole lot about Adrian, but he's really is weird to him because the whole time he's been in Milwaukee, it's been Coach Bud. And in some ways, that's part of what's going on here is there's a transition period from Coach Budenholzer to Adrian Griffin's reign. And maybe Giannis doesn't totally like the feel of how things are changing, and he doesn't like what's happening in Milwaukee completely. The Giannis sweepstakes fucked up the Raptors a couple years ago when we tried to land a nice safe spot to land Giannis on our roster by sacrificing Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol to do that. So in some ways, I'm hesitant about it too, because we don't want to start carving out room for something that's not for sure. And we could get burned for again. I know Masai and Giannis have a very close relationship. And sure, we would be near the top of the list of another team that Giannis would like to come play for. But in some ways, also, I wonder if Giannis has already hated us enough because of his failures against us that he wouldn't want to play for us, possibly. And also, on top of what Criscom's saying here about not being a fan about it, in some ways, I don't like Giannis's game. I don't think that I think he's very good. I think he's super talented and athletically a freak, as they say. But in some ways, Giannis's game is like not the best winning kind of way to do. And in some ways, I don't like him as being a franchise player for a team. Now, people would be like, you're crazy, Lex, what you're saying. But for some reason, I know what Criscom's talking about. And I kind of feel the same way. I like our guys more. In some ways, I'd rather have Scotty Barnes right now than Giannis Antetokounmpo. And maybe some people will look at you, you're fucking crazy, Lex. But think about it seriously. In some ways, Giannis has got to where he's gotten to. He's got a championship. He's happy. In some ways, he's satisfied. And that may be part of why he went out in the first round against the Miami Heat, because he just doesn't have the dog in him. He's super talented. He's awesome. He got to the heights. But in some ways, he may be satiated. And he's not as hungry as he used to be since he won that ring. So, yeah, I think I would pass on him too, especially if it means we got to move a whole bunch of people around and possibly lose good people on maybe not even the chance we might not even get him. I'm not wanting to do what we did before to try and clear space to get him like we did before because we got burned for it. And I don't want to get burned twice for the same mistake. So, yeah, Criscom, in some ways, I'm like you. I want to just pass on Giannis at this point because we got good things going on our own. Nameless has got our cutoff. Thank you, Nameless. And, yeah, I'll wrap it up probably in the next little bit. Cowboys saying Team Canada, world champions, Toronto. Hey, I'm all about it. Mischief saying Kyle Lowry got signed with Chicago. What? Is that actually true? Let me go look at this. Now, there's a really funny clip on Twitter of Dirk Nowitzki walking on the sideline at the FIBA Cup, and Dennis leaps over some chairs and scares the shit out of Dirk Nowitzki. It's hilarious. It's like, how often does somebody bum rush Dirk Nowitzki where he's like, who is this? And you can just find this clip of Dirk Nowitzki and Dennis Schroeder. Dennis jumps up. He's like, whoa. He scares him. All right, let me see if this is true. You're talking about Kyle Lowry went to the Chicago Bulls. If that happened, I'd be very happy for him because that means he's with DeMar. Of course, we want to see them reunited. That would be awesome. I would love to see those guys reunited, but I don't know if you're being factual actual. So I have to check. I don't see it anywhere if you're actually telling the truth or not, or you're just telling me some lies. I won't find out. I got to get some confirmation. They would have had it somewhere. The Mavs waived JaVale McGee. I see that, but I don't see anything about that. That is I don't think that's true. Mischief. Are you trying to cause mischief? If Lowry is on the Bulls, y'all tell me straight up, because I don't see it anywhere. I just looked around. Isaac saying strength and diversity is where it's at. Let's go. I like that. I'm all about that. That's why Toronto is one of the greatest cities in the world. We're the most diverse city in the world. In fact, it's true now. We've actually overcame London and New York as the most multicultural city in the world. The demographics have been looked at, and Toronto now has over 50% of its people are from other countries. They're not actually from Canada anymore. Now, this is something very interesting that I've talked about recently with my father about politics in Toronto, is basically they water down our votes in downtown by not giving us a lot of counselors. It's a really tricky way that Canada gerrymanders. Gerrymandering is a very serious problem in the United States, and it's causing all kinds of messed up, unrepresentative government for the citizens. Well, they do that here. And the way they do that here is things like Doug Ford takes away councilmen for provincial councilmen in the Toronto area. He consolidates the areas. So we'll have an area of like 1 million people that live in Toronto that are represented by one person. Well, they have a representative out in cottage country that covers like 10,000 people, and they get their one representative. So you tell me if that's representatively fair, that 1 million people are represented by one person, while 10,000 people out in the country are represented by one person also. This is an indirect way of racism. I'm going to call it out right now and put a real big shine on this, because this is why our voting system in Ontario is messed up. The votes in the city are watered down. A lot of them are immigrants. A lot of them are people of color. A lot of them are people of minority descent. And those votes don't count as much as the rich white people out in the country, away from the city. I'm going to move away from Toronto in the next year, and I will go to a different district, and my vote will count more because I'm about to move out to the country. That is messed up. And that is part of the way racism exists, and systemic racism exists in the Canadian system of government right now. If you're going to have counselors that represent people, they need to represent equal amounts of people. So Toronto should have way more council people in the provincial government representing the amount of population that is actually living in the city. So in some ways, this is the gerrymandering of Canada. And the more we talk about it and put it on blast, people become aware of it, because it's a dirty little secret that nobody likes talking about. And they should talk about it more. When you talk about the Greenbelt stuff, when we talk about the difference in voting power between someone who lives in the city of Toronto and someone who lives in the province of Ontario in a rural area. Yeah, more people are informed and educated about this issue, the more hopefully we can make strides to change it. Doug Ford, when he became the premier of our province, he struck down a couple more seats from Toronto, making less power for the real powerful people of the city of Toronto, the people that drive the economic engine of this province, let alone the whole country. They watered down y'all's vote. It doesn't matter as much as someone who lives in Stouffville. So that's just the truth of it. And if you don't like that, talk to your representatives and get change going. And let's talk about it more. Let's put it more on blast in public, because they don't like talking about it. It's a dirty little secret to keep the powers that be, the status quo, in power, and to take away the voice, the proper voting power of the individual in the city. So there you go. Sorry, I went on a tangent. That just made me think of this. Isaac Campbell saying, well, diversity and multiculturalism is strong in Toronto. Toronto is the most diverse multicultural city in the world now. We have overtaken New York and London, just so y'all know. It's the damn truth. They used to be more than us, but we are actually, because of our immigration in recent years and different things, we are more than them now at this point. Yeah, Nameless is clapping on that. I like that. MSJ's here. Good to see you, Chris. Have a good day, all. Late to the show today, but yes, Team Canada is a monster. Yeah, I won't disagree with this, Chris, at all. Yes, that is for sure. Nameless saying Project Truth always. Yes, we miss Mike, Logical Raptors fanatic. Come on back. We got to have that Project Truth. MSJ saying, is Lowry a bull now? For real? I want to know if this is some sort of weird mischief that mischief is causing. Well, then it is. Greece has beaten New Zealand 83-74. Holy crap. That is not what I thought was going to happen because New Zealand had a really good lead, but it looks like Greece got it going by the end of the game. So Greece is advancing. This is very much a game where whoever won was going to advance to the second round, and Greece is beating New Zealand this morning. Fantastic stuff. Very interesting that Greece is beating New Zealand. Of course, this game doesn't really matter with America's qualifying for us, but wow. New Zealand had actually been winning most of the game, and they ended up losing in the end. Faunus only getting 2 points in the win. So it's not like he did the job, the Antetokounmpo brother. Wow, great reporting, Trevor J. Thank you. Cowboys saying, everyone have a blessed day. Stay safe, everyone. Later, Lex and Monique and Raptor Free family. Bam. Always good to see you, Bradley. As always, the Mug Brothers in full effect. That's right. Nameless is saying this. Hang on. Here's the idea behind that. They say world champions because they believe the best talent in the world migrated to the professional sports league in the U.S., which is considered the largest market. Now, I get that, and that makes sense. But in some ways, basketball is a team sport, and I don't care about individual players. In some ways, I want to see the NBA champion be a better team than the Italian league champion, than the Spanish league champion, than the African league champion. I want to see the league champions play against each other in team sports. And I don't care about individuals or the creme de la creme comes to the NBA, because in some ways, there's creme de la creme in the Spanish league. There's creme de la creme in some of the South American leagues. There's very good players that don't come to the NBA. And in some ways, if they stack them up together in a FIBA kind of way and the way they play as a team, they could actually be better than some of these NBA teams. So I can't just blatantly say the Denver Nuggets would beat the Italian league champion. Well, let's go see. And then we'll find out for sure. Yeah. Fiercely saying Lowry to Chicago, reuniting with DeMar. I would not hate this. In fact, I'd be happy for Lowry because he'd be back with DeMar and he wouldn't have to listen to Miami's stupid bullshit, their fan nation and all the crap down there. Heat culture my ass. And this whole report of Anthony Edwards loving the heat culture from Eric Spoelstra, I'm sure that Minnesota Timberwolves just love hearing that Anthony Edwards has fallen in love with heat culture because he's been around Eric Spoelstra on Team USA. There's another reason why we don't need Scotty on Team USA. He'd get exposed to Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, and other guys in the States and get all American nationalist, and that may not be good for his future here in Toronto. So let's just put it that way. There's another reason why we should count our blessings. That Scotty Barnes is not on Team USA, because he may be getting involved with Eric Spoelstra. And then all of a sudden he's like, I kind of want to go home and play in Miami. So, yeah, this is a good thing this guy's not playing for Team USA, if anything, for just what I just said. So, yeah, and SGA and those guys, they may be like, wow, Jordy's awesome. They were thinking the same thing about Nick Nurse when we still had him. And in some ways, that could have been helpful for the Raptors recruiting someone. So there's interesting stuff there. Yeah, Nameless saying migrates. He's saying they believe that talent rises in any sports and the scouts are good enough to find you. So no matter where you are from in the world, the players in these America's leagues really are the best. And some of it's arrogance. Some of it's like a American conditioning of the world to believe that they're the best. A1, top notch on everything, which we know is bullshit. Their country's a dumpster fire. They're in a political freeze lock because of their stupid two-party system that is really party over people and not representative of anything anymore. They can't get anything done about gun control. They can't get anything done hardly ever with anything because it's so back right like that, stopping each other between the left and the right. So, yeah, the U.S. has built the world reputation that they're the best. And that's part of the whole line of thinking of this stupid shit, too, in some ways. Cowboys saying, we the North. That's right. Let's go. And Nameless saying, therefore, world champions in any of the big four sports is applicable. I don't know. In some ways, I disagree. In the big four major sports, it's laughable to say the NFL Super Bowl champion is the world champion, but it is the most accurate, honestly, at least for American football. But those other three, you shouldn't be really using world champions around the MLB, the NHL, or the NBA. There's just too much good international competition in those sports other than North America. Say the North American champions and stop being so arrogant. This continent, in some ways, us Canadians have more of a perception less than the arrogance of the Americans. And in some ways, we need to be real with ourselves and say, no, this isn't the world champions of the NBA. This is the North American champions. And that would be more accurate. I think that would be more accurate. Isaac saying Chev did one on the Bucks, Giannis and ex-coach Bud. This is interesting. In some ways, I've seen Giannis with Adrian a lot this summer. Adrian went to Greece with Giannis and was around him for the early FIBA stuff, friendly stuff, because he was showing support. Yeah, this is a weird situation. And Giannis has been showing up in weird places. Like we saw him at the Rico runs, but not playing, supporting the Bucks teammates that were there. I don't know. This is a weird situation. In some ways, I think Giannis Antetokounmpo is kind of like Joel Embiid. He's a big kid and he's not totally mature. And in some ways, he's not taking life as seriously as some other guys in the NBA. In some ways, you don't want a guy like that being your number one franchise guy. Now, Milwaukee was smart and they won a championship and they jumped in and got their one. But I don't know if Giannis is ever going to win another championship in his entire career. Seriously. I seriously don't know if he ever will. Kareem saying, I need Scotty to be that energetic, annoyingly happy, hugging, singing, dancing back. Yeah, we lost that in year 2. Hopefully he becomes himself again. Plus, he got his teeth fixed. Should always be smiling. Yeah, I mean, we want Scotty to be more like his rookie year than last year. That's for sure. That's a good distinction, Kareem Thomas. And hopefully we'll see the vibes are back. Who knows? Darko's so fun and not serious. Maybe it'll be easier for Scotty to be his fun-loving self. Partly that way. I think Nick sucked all the life out of the air and just kind of made everything so miserable last year that it was really hard for any of them to get that swagger vibe of happy positivity in certain ways. So hopefully you're right, and we get more a year 1 demeanor of Scotty instead of year 2 demeanor of Scotty in his third year. Isaac saying absolutely at Kareem. Scotty will be a product of his environment, like all young people. I think Pascal, if Pascal's dancing and singing, then we are all smiling, and Pascal is there. I'm really excited to see what he does with Schroeder. Siakam and Schroeder are going to do a soccer thing before the game. Dennis has already said this. He said in one of his channels, this is the thing. Dennis is an open book. We can know exactly where he's coming from and what he thinks. And this is one of the things Dennis Schroeder wants to do. He's seen Siakam do his soccer stuff before the game in his pregame ritual. Well, he wants to be a part of it. He actually wants to get with Siakam and be a part of his daily game ritual where he bounces the ball like with his feet. So who knows? They could be a very cool little soccer thing that Dennis and Pascal are doing with each other before every game. And I love that he wants to be a part of that with him in his soccer background. That's another reason why Dennis can get along with people so much. There are a lot of soccer fans on this team. Like Coloco's a huge soccer fan. So he's going to have things in common with like OG, Pascal, Coloco, these big other soccer fans on the team. And then like OG, another guy, they're very European dudes. OG, obviously going back to UK and being around London Lions, the team he owns in the British basketball league. He has a similar kind of story as Dennis. These are European dudes playing in North America. And even though OG picked him up and tossed him around in a game a couple of years ago, they actually have a lot in common. And that'll make it easy for them to be fast friends. So I'm very excited about Dennis and how he's going to meld the good vibes with them. Like that soccer stuff with Pascal is going to be really fun to see. I want to see what they do. Really, really into that. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying in here. Kareem saying we should start a powwow dance circle before every game and sing Kumbaya before every Raptors game to make sure we were all in a good headspace. Either that or DMX. Up in here. Yeah, y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me go all out up in here, up in here. Yeah. I'm about the DMX over the Kumbaya, to be honest. In some ways we do our little, maybe we will come up with a new pregame ritual. I scrapped everything we did last year. I'm not bringing the wrestlers out from my channel like I did last year behind me. I'm going to change a lot of different things just to try and get the energy different than last year. Last year was messed up and we got to change our rituals. I'm with you, Kareem. We'll figure something out. It'll come naturally to us the days of the game and we'll start doing it. And hopefully, if it works, we'll continue to do it. If it's not, maybe we'll get a little superstitious and change our behavior. Isaac saying, laugh out loud. Scotty Barnes touches grass every day. Who needs to touch a rock? Ooh. Yeah, I mean, Scotty has been out huffing and puffing, taking Cardi for walks recently. We've seen on Instagram in the sweats, and yeah, so he's getting out there touching grass. That's for sure. Trevor Jason, let's go Raptors. He's got Masai, Darko, Pascal, OG, Scotty, Grady, me, and Monique. Let's go. That's right. Fiercely Saucer saying, well, we'll look at that. Just got a notification from Sportsnet app. FIBA round 2 starting soon, and who will Team Canada face? They're finally starting to talk about them more and more. That's right. Brazil, 9:30 a.m. Raptor Freak watch along. 9:15 will be when we start to come on air. Game will be at 9:30 Friday morning against Brazil. We know our opponent and America's opponent. Let's directly put them out by beating them on Friday morning. That is enough of something to put in front of the horse to lead them to victory. Is say you beat them, you're putting one of your opponents that's trying to take one of the Olympic spots out of the picture directly in your own hands. Beating Brazil on Friday will be like that. Yeah, I love it. They are taking notice of us, and we are getting more shine, similar to the U.S. team. And that should be that way because the talent is similar in some ways, very much. Yeah. Country Con saying, good morning, Raptors freaks. Lex, I know we disagreed on Gilbert, but he has what's becoming my favorite podcast. Oh, Gilbert Arenas. Steph himself came on and started the Magic conversation. Gil had a huge impact on the NBA. All right, well, I'll touch on Gilbert Arenas just a little bit more, Country Kong. And yes, we do disagree on him. I don't like him. I don't like him as a person. I don't like him as a player. I never did. I always found him super, super arrogant. I found it like he was one of the first players in the league that was kind of starting the trend of selfishness in this league. And in some ways, he was a point guard, but he really didn't play like a point guard. I know he got assist numbers and stuff like that, but Washington was such a shit team that a lot of his assists when he played at that time were hollow assists. It's like he was the dude on a shitty team. Of course, anybody can score a bunch of points. Somebody has to. And if he even has just a little bit of talent, he can do that. In some ways, he's talking all this trash right now. And in some ways, he doesn't have the right to me because he's not a top tier NBA player. He was not a superstar. I never looked at him as one of the top players in the league. I always looked at him as a chump and just kind of an annoying person. And I really am totally not ever going to respect him. And a lot of it has to do with the gun incident in the locker room that he did, how damaging that was to the NBA. In some ways, he's kind of like around that same time, Chris Benoit murdered his family and really hurt wrestling. I kind of not as bad as Chris Benoit murdering his family, but what Gilbert Arenas did at that time with that gun in that locker room was very damaging to the NBA. We had just had like the Malice in the Palace and a lot of stupid incidents around the NBA, and he didn't help things. So I have very little respect for him. In fact, some of the stuff he's saying on his podcast is bullshit. And he knows it. He's doing it just to get a rise out of people and get an interaction. He's clickbait. He's a clickbait podcast. He's saying shit controversially just to get people upset to come and argue with him. And I'm not taking that bait anymore. Nah, he's not interesting to me. I don't have any respect for him as a person. I don't have any respect for him on his podcast. And I don't have any respect for him as a player either. So, yeah, it's a 3 strike for me on him. But it's a free country and a free world. We all have our different flavors of ice cream that we enjoy. And if you enjoy them, I won't tell you to not watch them and enjoy them and stuff. It's just don't expect me to be won over. I have very specific reasons for why I don't like him. And there you go. Now, this whole Steph Magic argument, I am annoyed by him for bringing this up. This is a dumb argument, but in some ways, the old heads are getting more brought to light. You know, if we see more highlights of Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird on social media where they get the real shine and the truth told about them. Because young people just think these guys were plumbers and they can't play in today's NBA. Y'all are fucking wrong. Wilt Chamberlain would dominate in today's league, just like he did back in the day. Y'all keep saying, oh, they played against plumbers. This is bullshit. And y'all don't even understand what the NBA was like back then. It was a different league. It wasn't as athletic and kind of pussyfooting around and soft. It definitely was harder. You got beat up. And when Charles said recently Steph would get beat up by the bad boys in the old school, he's right. But Steph's tough, and I think he would have been all right, and he would have gotten through there. But he would definitely have been beat the hell up by Dennis Rodman, John Sally, Rick Mahorn, and Bill Laimbeer if he had played in that era. So people don't understand. The NBA was a very different time at that place, and it was really hard to earn anything back then. It was a hard knocks way you had to earn it. So it's different. We can't say for sure who would do what in different eras if they got to go magically in time portal and go to different places. But I would tell you right now, superstars are superstars. And if you're a top level player in the NBA, you can play in any era. I'm sorry. That's just the damn truth. It doesn't matter if you think the whole league was full of plumbers, youngsters. That league was tough back then. You got beat up by those plumbers. Yeah, you did. And it's a whole different kind of thing. You know, people poo poo George Mikan. Say George Mikan, well, there were no black people in the NBA at that time. And why is he one of the most changing the game? Because he did change the game. That's just the damn truth. The NBA came in and he was the first changing of the game. Just like Steph Curry changed the game with his three-point shot, George Mikan changed the game in the 40s and 50s with his height. He was the first real dominant big man in the league. And he has an important place in the history, even if it's in the part where there weren't as many black players playing and some of the players weren't as good. He had an impact, and he is an important part of the history of the NBA. And he is one of the first people that changed the NBA. So he has to be the first one on the list. Bill Russell's second. And then you got Wilt and Kareem and Magic and those guys after that. So all within his good place. Steph Curry has definitely changed the game and made the three-point shot more important. But yeah, that conversation in some ways is insulting to Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson went to the finals almost every year he played in the NBA. And Steph Curry, he has 4 rings, but Magic has 5. Steph Curry, how many MVPs does he have? Yeah, how many does Magic have? You stack up their resumes, and Magic still beats Steph. You know, Magic's the best point guard in the history of the NBA. Steph Curry may be the best scoring point guard in the history of the NBA. There's discernments that you've got to make that make it a different thing. Magic's the best point guard, greatest point guard ever, and Steph is probably the best scoring point guard ever. Can we make the distinctions? There we go. All right. Thanks, Country Kong. And I'm sorry, you can't win me over on Gilbert. I love Gilbert Godfrey, not Gilbert Arenas. Most saying W stream Lex all around. Keep at it always. It may not feel like it, but one day closer to training camp. But first, go Canada. Go Raptors. Yeah, Monique has gotten rid of her countdown this summer because she's just so entertained by Team Canada. And I love that. In some ways, we're not counting the days down to Raptors basketball in August because we have something to watch right now. I love that. Trevor Jace giving me another score. It looks like Iran has lost to Spain 85-65. That was the last game for today. Wow, they finished up really quick. So Spain has won their group, and that's fantastic to see. The final score is 85-65, 20-point win for Spain. It's official. We'll play Spain on Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Sunday. Kareem saying Dennis Schroeder and OG Anunoby remake WWE or Dennis and Pascal soccer pregame. What do you want to see? For me, I don't want to see Dennis and OG doing WWE. That seems silly. I want to see the soccer stuff with him and Pascal. We've already seen the WWE stuff with Dennis and OG already. Randolph Phillips is saying DeMar DeRozan is listed as one of the top 5 players to be traded by October. NBA rumors, JaVale McGee waived after Mavericks failed to find trade. Kings is interested. I'm sure McGee will probably get picked up somewhere, somehow, at some point. But who knows? Maybe his career's over. He's been in the league for quite a while, and he's had some success. He's an NBA champion, so he can't be too upset. I'm not sure that rumor about DeMar is likely. Chicago has very much said that they want to keep DeMar long term. They've said that publicly, and it's their GM, Mark Eversley, who used to work for the Raptors, who has commented saying he wants to keep DeMar DeRozan long term. So I don't know if that list is accurate, that they're going to be traded by October, because everything I'm hearing from the Bulls front office is they value DeMar and they're actually looking to keep him long term. So Kenrick St. Kyle used to lead the crazy pregame fun. I hope they can find something to gel to. Yeah, we'll see. Kyle would do that low stuff and like all the weird stuff in the coming out for the introductions. We'll see. Pascal and Chris with the little T, all that stuff. Yeah, more of that kind of fun, energy kind of stuff to get hype for the game is always good around the Raptors. More good vibes. That's what we want. That's the prescription. Dr. Feelgood, give us a prescription for good vibes this year, Dr. Darko. That's right. Yeah, I love it, Kenrick. Always good to see Kenrick, Chronic Art James in the chat. If y'all need a tattoo or any kind of art commission, Kenrick, Chronic Art James is who you should look up on social media and get in contact with. He can help you out. Mo's saying, what did you think of my Canada takeaways, Lex? All right, Mo, since you called it out, I will go to our Facebook group, the Raptor Freak Family private member Facebook group, which you can join if you become a member of this channel. You get access to the 24/7 posts that are coming from Monique, myself, and Trevor J. All right, Monique, let me scroll down and get to that point where you're at with what your takeaways were. All right, she says Canada wins 101-75 to win Group H. Spain and likely Brazil up next. Latvia also advances. Need to get Lou Dort right and cut down on the fouls, but otherwise pretty much rolling. True team effort today and overcame some adversity. Yeah, I think that's very accurate as far as the adversity early and overcoming it. Very, very good. And yeah, we'll get Lou Dort back on Friday. That would be very, very good. The fouls are going to just be there. I don't think that watching out for our fouls is gonna be an issue. It just sucks that certain players may get in foul trouble and they can't play for a while. But Jordy seemed to weather the foul trouble of Dylan Brooks and Dwight Powell pretty well by kind of having people like Kelly Olynyk and Kyle Alexander ready just in case. So I'm not upset. The fouls are going to come, and especially if we're playing a physical FIBA style of play, fouls are just going to happen, and we're just going to have to depend on our coach to be really smart with navigating the foul trouble with his rotations. And so far, he's been very smooth. And even though we had foul trouble in the last game, it did not matter. We still went on a nice arc of coming back and just kicking their ass by the end of the game. So great stuff, Monique. Thank you for your takeaways as usual. Always great to see your opinions on what's going on with the basketball, whether it's the Raptors or Team Canada. All right, so yeah, we've got all the games done for the day today. Spain has wrapped up the first round against Iran, winning by 20 in the last game of today. Greece beat New Zealand once again in recap. Puerto Rico beating China, so they're going to go forward to the second round, unfortunately. Slovenia beating Cape Verde to go forward. They're going forward anyway. Brazil beat Ivory Coast. So it will be Brazil on Friday. Now, if Ivory Coast had won that game, we would have been facing Ivory Coast on Friday. And that could have been very interesting. USA, big dominant win over Jordan and Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. Georgia beating Venezuela. Venezuela has been eliminated. And Serbia beating South Sudan in action today also. That's pretty much a wrap-up for today's FIBA action and just a regular Raptors Instagram check and a recap of the game yesterday. Team Canada defeating Latvia by 26 points in an impressive win and to finish their first round play in Group H. So tomorrow, Thursday Think Tank, we'll be talking about USA versus Canada at FIBA World Cup. And then on Friday, we'll have Canada versus Brazil starting the second round, the classification round. And the games on Thursday are actually going to be the teams that lost are going to be playing in their games, because what they do is the teams like Japan and Venezuela and Mexico, they've got to play a couple more games to sort out the rankings of FIBA going forward. So these games, even though they're technically out of cup contention for FIBA World Cup, they got to still sort out their placement in the FIBA rankings. So these games still matter tomorrow when they play the losers bracket for the FIBA teams. They got to figure out where they'll be ranked in FIBA rankings by that'll determine it, part of it. So, all right, thanks for watching me. Please give a follow to NBA Quick Takes, to the point. Why not? Logical Raptors fanatic, Gubstown Clink. Great Raptors content out there. And thanks for supporting this channel. If you want to become a member, there's a join button, and there are privileges to being a member of this channel. We're going to have contests more and more on this channel coming up. And the people that are members of this channel will be more likely to be able to participate in some of these contests because there may be limited spots to participate in these contests. So if you become a member of the channel, you'll get preferential treatment to be included in stuff. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. As always, let's go Raptors. Let's go Masai Ujiri. Support the Raptors front office. Support the Raptors head coach, Darko Rajakovic. Support the Raptors players, Grady, Scotty, Gary, OG, Pascal, Christian, Precious, the whole crew. And let's support Team Canada all the way to winning the FIBA World Cup 2023. That's right. Say it again. World champions, Team Canada, FIBA World Cup 2023 champions, Olympic berth at France next year. That's what we want, baby. So let's go Team Canada. Woo!